All right, hello again, fellow AMC shareholder, investor, brothers and sisters, near and far, around the world. I think I checked the AMC price a little later than typically I do. I don't just get up and, I got to check the price. It's just kind of habitual that I'll see where it's at for the day. And, it was doing about what it's been doing. So, my thinking is that even people who may not at present be convinced that there's going to be a squeeze, and I'm actually one of them. I'm not sure there's going to be a real squeeze. I think there's going to be a run. I think there's money to be made. Is there a MOAS? I'd love for there to be. But without knowing how many counterfeits are still out there, and I still think it could be in the billions, just because of that little glitch we saw with Ape back in February, where it was like, 9.4 or 9.7 trillion, something like that. Even with a 10-to-1 reverse split, if that also applies to AMC, tons of counterfeits out there that have to be accounted for at some point. So, yes, we still see the same trickery, probably, it's the same head game. And I think I get back to my original point, people who are holding the stock with the idea that there isn't going to be a MOAS are still holding the stock, because who's going to sell at these prices? I mean, there might be a few people who might just give up, but I just don't think the lion's share of us are going to do that. And for me, the way I continue to do that, the way I continue to hold AMC, is to just simply not look at it that much, because it would be exhausting. And I stopped really doing that a long time ago as I got, into more and more investments, which is what I do. There's this part of human nature that says, this is it. I've got to grab onto it. It's part of FOMO, fear of missing out. I've got to grab onto this, or this is it. And the actual fact is, people are always going to want to make money. And people in very high positions are always going to want to have ways to create more money and to create opportunities. And as long as we have some sort of access to that, there will be ways to make money. So, now we have various forms of crypto, and, precious metals are still accessible. The X coins are a doable deal, and things are just going to continue like that, So I always look for kind of the next thing that makes sense. I don't just invest in everything that people say to. But for me, like XRP, XLM, I haven't really done XTC, but HBAR, those things made sense, and they're so affordable that I can easily afford what I can invest to lose and just continue to move on from there. So for me, the way to hold most investments is to simply not get too wrapped up in them, AMC included in, possibly especially. So anyway, and like I said in yesterday's video, with Beyonce and Taylor Swift being funneled through AMC, I'm not a big believer in popcorn and wine and all that, but it would seem that there are, some dollars to be made there. I'm not sure it's enough to offset $9 billion worth of debt, but I think that's where we're at, isn't it? And then you look at U2 at the Sphere, and various entertainment ventures around the world. Dubai has enormous things going on. I just don't think that live events and theaters are going to go by the wayside completely. There may be changes, but it's not a dead model by any stretch. So there is that. I'm not a huge believer in the short thesis that people like to talk about. I think the short thesis is just, we're going to manipulate this stock to make money. That's it. That's the short thesis. But I do think AMC is still going to have a run up, and I think we can be there for it which is why I continue to hold, and the way I continue to hold is to just not look at it very much. So that's it for me. I'm going to go grab some iced tea and get to work. So everybody take care.